So today I'm going to be replacing the broken screen on my HP TPN c125. And before I get started, I've just gathered a couple things that I'll need. There's a jeweler's screwdriver Phillips. You need a prying tool. I use a guitar pick. You need a razor blade to remove the tape that's holding down the cable. And then you're going to need some tape to actually put the cable on the new screen, which I use packing tape, but you just need a strong sticky tape. I ordered the new screen from laptopscreen.com, who had the best prices on the internet, and they had a 2-day delivery, and it came in 2 days. It looks like it's in a very good sturdy box, and when I open the box, I see that they put it in 1, 2, 3 bubble bags envelopes, so the screen looks like it's perfect. So we're going to get going on the actual laptop repair. This laptop that I'll be working on is probably one of the easiest to repair the screen. I'll explain in a minute when I go get the laptop. So when I said that the laptop was an easy repair, it's because the actual bezel doesn't have any hidden screws going around it, so it's a question of taking your pry tool, and you have to just start at an edge, and then you have to get your pry tool into the edge. You might want to try with a razor blade or something just to get it going, but once you've got it in there, you're just going to go around it very carefully. You don't want to break your bezel, and you're going to hear some snapping, but that's okay. Just take your time. It's going to come apart. So go around all the other edges. And when you get to the bottom, this is going to be sticky because it's got extra glue. So you're just going to have to work it through with your pry tool. Just keep going back and forth until you feel that it's releasing. And then grab it with your fingertips if you can, and just pull gently because you're trying to make sure that you don't break this bezel. And once you've got the bezel off, as you can see, that went pretty well. You're going to see that there are 4 screws that need to be removed to take the screen off. And again, that's a very simple process. Some of them you have to actually take the frame off, and then it's a little bit more complicated. So it's always nice if you have a screwdriver that's magnetic so that these tiny little screws stay on your screwdriver and don't fall into somewhere where you end up spending 20 minutes looking for it, which is normally what I end up doing. So there's 2. Three, and the last one. Okay, so now as soon as the last one is done, the screen is going to be free to fall. So just make sure that your angle of your lid is somewhere where it doesn't come tumbling down. So once you've got to this point, you can take your screen, lay it down on your keyboard, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your razor blade and you're going to carefully remove the tape that's holding down your cable. And you've got to be really careful here because your cable's delicate, so just get under there, peel it up as carefully as you can, get to the point where the contact is showing, and then just gently rock it back and forth till it's out. And that's it. You're now ready to put your new screen in.
Okay.
So we're just going to basically follow our process in reverse. I notice that they have a protective covering on the screen. I'm not going to take that off quite yet. I'm going to get the actual cable in place first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up this cable, and it snaps in. And this is where your packing tape or whatever tape you feel like using comes in play. It doesn't have to be pretty, it's on the back of your screen, so that's all good. All right, so now we're just going to put the 4 screws back in. lost one already. Two. Now I like to test it before I put the bezel back on, because if there's something that needs to be replaced, it's your bezel that's probably the most delicate of this operation, and if you just keep, putting it on, taking it off, you might run the risk of breaking it. So we're gonna put this last screw in, and we're gonna fire up the laptop. We're gonna see what happens. And we have a screen. How's that look, guys? So the question now is just to get the bezel back on, which is just, you're gonna put it down where the hinges are first, and then you're just gonna start snapping it in place. And your laptop's as good as new.